Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Sunday, wherever you may be in the world. We are currently here at Oliphants River. I was actually there yesterday on the Oliphants River. Not quite at this place, but welcome to this afternoon's show. I'm delighted to be joining you. My name's Kelly, and I love hearing all of your questions that you send through to us. Please send us through your questions, your comments, your thoughts. We will happily get through as many of them as we can. Send your questions through to wildearth.tv/questions, or you can scan the QR code that's currently on your screens. We are live and interactive, and if you want to join the conversation on X, use the hashtag #WildEarth, or again, scan that QR code and send us your questions. That elephant looks like he's caught in a little bit of a rip there. You can also send your comments on WhatsApp on +37 78630 2336. That elephant is being pulled back by the current there a bit, I think. We have had lots of rain down in this area, and it's actually, today is a little bit overcast. We got some more rain here in Hoodspray a couple of days ago. We got about 15 mils apparently. Oh! I'm fairly sure if this elephant stands up and walks he'll be okay. But this is quite interesting to see. The Oliphants River was very full yesterday. There has been some big rains down this rainy season, and it's not quite as crazy as it was when I was there maybe 6 or 8 weeks ago. There was lots of roads that have been closed in the Kruger Park because they were just inaccessible. But I've never seen an elephant be it's like he's being pushed along a little bit. Penelope Kenyon, good afternoon. Hello to all at Wild Earth, Zoomies and chatters. Enjoy the sights and sounds today. Thank you very much for joining us, Penelope Kenyon. Mr. Elemental, brilliant name, love that every time. Hello Kelly. I'm just thinking we're having a few little mic issues. I've tried a few different techniques to get this sound quality improved. I apologise if anyone is struggling with them. Thankfully, this elephant has made it out of the water nice and safely. He's having a little interaction there with his buddy. Sorry, Mr. Elemental. Hello, Kelly and Mika. Good luck water holding. Thank you very much. Penelope Kenyon, yes. I've never actually seen that before. That current was pushing that elephant a little bit, but no, I wasn't too concerned. Maybe if it had been a young one, it could have become a problem. But these are relatively well-sized elephants. And no, the other one wasn't brave enough to get in. But this is an interesting interaction here. Not sure what's... Yeah, this one's collared here. Maybe that one that's much darker, I think that's the one that's just got out the river. So maybe that was a little bit stressful for him. He was getting pushed along by the current a little bit, and now maybe he's just come out a little bit uptight, a little bit stressed. And as a result, he's taken it out on his buddy there. You see all this very nuanced body language communication going on here. Just a kink of the tail, a tilt of the head. Speaks volumes in animal body language terms. We did have quite a few lovely elephant sightings yesterday. They were certainly around. Not quite as many as we do see in the dry season, when they do congregate around any rivers or pans where they're the only water sources. But they were definitely around over the last couple of days. There's still a bit of a standoff going on here.
April 13 marks the beginning of something powerful. Wild Earth is launching a special fundraising drive for our non-profit, the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. We're raising funds to source, create, and showcase thousands of untold stories. Stories that spark real action in conservation and social impact. Join our live fireside chat to learn more and explore how you can become a founding donor. Are you ready for the adventure of a lifetime? Wild Earth Travel's newsletter is your passport to a magical journey. Explore exclusive travel options featuring special offers at stunning Wild Earth locations and all hosted by your favorite presenters. Don't miss out. Head over to our website and subscribe to the Wild Earth Travel newsletter today and stay in the know on all our unforgettable adventures. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Yes, I can. Give me, I will, I am ready to go live. Everyone, I just had a little tinker with some sound issues there. I'm probably going to be due a new laptop very soon, let's put it that way. I'm not sure what I missed here, but this dark elephant that's had a little bit of a stressful time in the river is still an elephant that's gulping out. Still cruising around. I wonder if he let his buddy away from the river. I actually went to I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I went to the Letaba Elephant Museum yesterday in the Kruger Park, and it's actually really good. It's a really good experience. If anyone does get a chance to go, I would highly recommend it. Some great displays and information about these amazing elephants, and one of the funnest thing is they've got a couple of real life scale elephants, and wow, they really are massive. It's incredibly easy when we're watching them like this to forget the enormity of these animals. This guy's been in the river is grumpy, hey? Deb Davis, hi. You have not seen me for a bit. Have I been doing anything interesting? I've been doing lots of interesting things, Deb Davis. Um, I'm not sure how long back we are talking, but I've spent a bit of time in the UK with my old dad. Dad, if you're listening, I'm 95% sure he's not. And I've been doing lots of study around animal behaviour, mostly companion animals, but I'm actually about to do a workshop, well, in a couple of months, combining what I've learned about mostly dog or cat or any other companion animals and combining it with working with wildlife, mostly captive wildlife, working on enrichment programs, that sort of thing. But I've been doing a lot more of that. I've been focusing on developing a canine behaviour business. I'm very passionate about that, and I'm fascinated by all. Are you going back in again, elephant? Is he reversing into the river? That's so funny. He's gone back in. But he reversed in. That's brilliant. And that got deep really fast. That's really interesting that he's gone back in here. And look how fast that's flowing. Look at that elephant's moving. Maybe he's one of these, who's in a buzz chasing elephant. It was a little bit edgy last time he got in there, and it's gone back for some more. So yes, Deb Davis, that's what I've been doing. Bit of this, bit of that, you know. But yeah, I'm focusing heavily on the behavioural side of animals at the moment, and this is what it's so cool watching this one. See, look at him splashing there. I'm not sure what's going on here. I'm sure, I mean, he must know that, okay, I'm not going to get washed away. But he's gone back for more, hasn't he? And it must be relatively deep because look, he's lying on his side there. Maybe he's an adrenaline elephant. And I'll be interested to see if he gets out a little bit cranky again. Maybe not cranky, but overstimulated. See, that's a stressed elephant posture, or maybe not stressed. It almost looks like he's having an argument with the river. That's mad. And Penelope Kennan, yes, there are lots of lovely big trees on the banks of many of these rivers. You know, there's a lot more nutrients available, nutrients that are washed down on the river, into the soil around the river. There's obviously more water availability in an area. So you put a jackalberry or something on the edge of the river where they're normally found, or if you try to grow one a kilometre away, the jackberry near the river is gonna see. Look, this is really interesting. Great choice, MC. This is really interesting behaviour we're watching here. And that elephant coming over almost looked like they were going, "Are you okay?" Or maybe that's a stressed. We never really know exactly what animals are thinking, and we never will. All we can do is read body language. But the way that elephant walked over, it was hurried, it was rushed. It's got quite a. It was walking quickly, swinging that trunk, swinging that body. Is a sign of a elephant feeling stuff. Put it that way. Whether or not that's.
Join Wild Earth Travel on a unique nature adventure in the Greater Kruger Park. Legendary master tracker Renius Mhlongo leads a 4-day animal tracking experience in the Sabi Sand Nature Reserve. This experience offers a life-changing chance to track Africa's iconic animals on foot with a master of his craft. Renius is joined by Wild Earth presenter and expert storyteller Amy Krantz, and together they will connect you to Africa's wild heart.
We understand that not everybody has got spare pennies to rub together at the end of the month. We're introducing an initiative called Gift an Explorer.
So that those with lots of pennies can gift a Wild Earth Explorer access to those with fewer.
We're aiming for 250 gifts, but the more the merrier.
You can nominate a recipient or keep it anonymous.
It's a great way to share the Wild Earth mission with other nature lovers around the world.
Already seen in there once, but that's getting quite deep. Unless it is he, or maybe he's kneeling down. Yeah, he must be kneeling down actually. But look how that current carries him when he goes over on his side. Maybe he does want to cross. And he's very frustrated that he can't. The others don't look too phased. Look, 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 his buddy's in now, his friend's in. See what's going to happen here. I don't know what's going on here. This looks like a... I'm fairly sure this is a group of bulls. Elemental says he thinks he's lost his GPS tracker in the river and he's trying to find it. He's going to struggle to find it in water that's flowing this fast, I think. I'm not sure about the dynamics here. Spas, hi, afternoon. Great to begin with elephants, and you're looking forward to a great show this afternoon. We all are. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us, Spas. See, now he's reversed into his friend. I don't know what's happening here. Oh no, that's getting deep and fast flowing, elephants. Be careful there. Wildlife lady is saying he's just having his Sunday spa. But look. Oh golly, this is getting tense. Now the one that's walking forward is collared, and there's lots of different criteria for an elephant being collared. It depends on, I've got no idea who would have collared this elephant or why. So look, it's going to get out again. I'm just trying to work out what the relationship is between these two elephants. He's going to lay down on the sandbank. Look, this is brilliant. Oh, there's another one going in now. The old crazy boy over there is having a good old dig around in the bank with his tusks. Maybe this is just boys being a bit silly. I think it is. I was trying to work out if there was any real sort of negativity between those other two. And I don't think there was, because then the other one reversed into the other bull, and if you're in a fight, you're not going to run into someone backwards. You're going to throw everything. I think they're just messing about in here. Look, the other one's joining in now. This is so interesting. This is what I enjoy most now, is just trying to interpret what's going on with animals, and we don't always know. We can make sort of semi-educated guesses. Using information we've seen before. An absolute blast, I think. I don't think there is any aggression here. I think this is just a group of boys messing about on a Sunday afternoon, to be honest, just playing around in the river. Ellie, hi, Wild Earth, and hello to you, Ellie. Thank you very much for joining us. You are very, very welcome. And Penelope saying maybe he wants another to lead him across. Yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming that they know what they can cross and what they can't cross, and you know what will be too deep for them. But it doesn't look like there's any sort of real mission or purpose here. The one got in and got out, and then got in and then splashed around again and then got out. I think the only way I'd interpret this really is a group of lads messing about on the river. Maybe they are gonna try and cross. This section of river closest to the camera looks quite deep. Maybe they want to cross and they're taking it in turns to test it, and they're all encouraging each other to do so. Now the other ones are having a little bit of a discussion. If it was females with little ones, they would be a lot more careful here. So there's 3 of them now in the middle of the river. And they're all getting under the water again. You know, in one of the lodges I worked in many years ago, all animals. But we would often come into a situation where animals were on one or the other side of the Sabi River, and the rains would come, and then those animals wouldn't be able to get back across for a while. And they didn't normally get separated from prides or herds because they're clever, they know when rain is coming. But this is really interesting. Okay, real greens are opposite. It's virtually an elephant only play pool with such a strong, yes, with such a strong current. It is elephants only, I would say, in here. But yeah, I'd be interested to see where these elephants end up. But I think we're gonna leave these boys in this beautiful flowing river now, and let's go across. We're gonna have a look at some vultures. There is a feeding station, and I think we should go across and have a little look and see what's happening there. I think these elephants are playing. So this is a lot of vultures. Now, I've never actually been here. I've been to Vic Falls, but I've never been to this particular location. And I'm trying to see which vultures we've got down here.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
Haina nchumo, haina maka. Emavo kwenye ya milu, haina maka. Lifasira mina ritapela. Zatsemba, utatsamana mina.
We are thrilled to announce our new exclusive feature for YouTube members and explorers. Join us live every Tuesday for our sunrise and sunset safaris. Experience Tawny Tuesday like never before with up-close encounters and breathtaking moments. Don't miss out. Become a YouTube member or explorer today and immerse yourself in the heart of the bush. See you Tuesday.
Wow, I've never actually seen this before. I can't hear anything at the moment, so I'm not sure if you guys are getting sound on this, but that is oh no, hold on, let me try to see if I can turn my sound up a bit. I would love to hear what's going on here. Oh, that's really sad. I've just been reliably informed that this camera doesn't have sound. That's gonna be I can imagine what that would sound like. I'm not going to try that. It's all just a big pile of vultures. I've got no chance of identifying any of those. Wow. You can see that, you can see the like the circles of vultures where they've left meat, and there is huge arguments there. Huge arguments at the Vulture Cafe. That is certainly a lot of birds there. This conservation place I was at recently, they actually did a really good job of explaining the risks that vultures face in conservation currently. There are many risks of many vultures are classified as being in decline or endangered, or numbers of all vultures are falling, and there's various reasons this is happening. One is habitat loss. Vultures, depending on the species, they need places to nest, and if they don't have species appropriate nest sites, then they can't breed nicely. We're losing many birds to power line. Vultures are no exception. The more built up areas are becoming, the more infrastructure is required, so the more power lines are required, and we do lose quite a lot of birds to power lines. Another huge concern is poisoning. Over the last few days I've spent lots of time, I'm aware of it, but it's great to have revision on the topic. Poisoning, stroke poaching, which is where poachers will poison a carcass deliberately to reduce vulture numbers, so vultures become less indicative of poached carcasses. It's a massive shame, and hundreds and hundreds of birds are lost because of this. And look at them all taking to the skies now. Wow, they've hit a serious thermal there. That's a nice image. I like that a lot. Look at that warm air, that warm swirling air. They've all made their way up onto that lovely warm thermal. Real greens It could indeed be 2% of Africa's vultures right there. That was a lot of birds. I'm not actually sure of exactly how many vultures there are in Africa. I know some species are more endangered than others, but I know numbers are definitely declining. Julian Branscombe, are these all whiteback vultures? I don't think so. I definitely saw hooded vultures in there. I think there may have been Cape vultures in there, one or two. Definitely less prevalent than the most common whiteback. I didn't see any leopard faced in there. And there are other species of vultures that could be found in this area, but I think they were predominantly whiteback. Spas, how do power lines affect vultures? They can fly into them. Any bird can accidentally fly into a power line and get tangled in it, get caught in it, injure themselves in it, making them unable to fly. That's a very cool scene. Lots of people, if the media stroke films have given vultures a little bit of a bad press, they're incredibly important for the ecology of an area. They do lots of cleanup, keeping the bush free from any diseased meats or the rubbish men and women. They do a great job, and people often think if you see vultures circling high in the sky or flying anywhere for that matter, then there's something dead there. That's not the case. There might be something dead under there, but you could see all of those vultures lifting high on that thermal. They've just had some food and they're just cruising around. Often if you see, it's possible, but vultures find carcasses. I think it's a leopard face. There's been a couple of records of leopard face vultures killing something, but feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. But most vultures are exclusively they feed on carrion, so dead things, scavengers, and they're very important for nature's cleanup mission. Spus, these vultures are circling on a thermal. So they've found a funnel of warm air that they're using to soar. They're using that lift on the warm air, and they will circle high in the sky to carry on looking for more meals on the ground. It's a very cool sighting. I don't know off the top of my head what the population of whiteback vultures is currently, or hooded. I would need to go back and check. Numbers change rapidly. They change all the time. So off the top of my head, I don't know. I'll try and have a look though. Maybe I could let you know tomorrow what the most recent data is on vulture numbers across Africa and indeed South Africa. But these guys, they've had their snack and they're now circling beautifully on this lovely warm air. Let's leave them to digest and we will head over to Elephant Power. Wow, this has changed colour since I was here a few days ago. There's a lot of green in this water now, lots of algae. I'm sure there's also fair amounts of poop here. I keep meaning to do it. Someone must set on their computer, if they could mark a line for me where this water is, and we can see how quickly it drops. Oh, I just see the sun's just come out here now, but There has definitely been a bit of rain here in the Lowford over the last couple of days.
Join me, Andrew Wistenholm, for an indescribable 6-night stay in the beautiful Albany of the Eastern Cape at Amakhala Game Reserve. Now, this trip is going to be action-packed with a lot of storytelling, adventure, as well as the opportunity to make everlasting memories. We'll be exploring the best of Amakhala by staying at 2 luxury lodges, which will be the perfect blend of comfort as well as wilderness. Book your spot today, and let's get ready to explore the wild beauty of Amakhala.
Become a Wild Earth YouTube member today and unlock extras and bonuses, like ad-free streams so you can stay immersed in your safari without any interruption. Have your burning questions answered first by me or other expert naturalists. Join now to avoid missing out on these amazing benefits. Help us connect people to nature.
Welcome to Safari Spotlight. We'll be
And you pretend like you're a salesman, eh?
Got no idea what's going on this reserve.
Expecting the unexpected.
Are we stuck down there?
What am I trying to do?
So we have another giant of Mabula.
That was incredible.
This is unbelievable.
It's going to be a spectacular afternoon.
A few pictures. He posed beautifully on a log. It was quite confusing trying to work out what it was. But I think that was my favourite thing. We had a lovely sighting of a lovely big-haired buffalo, lots of lovely birds. We had some ground hornbills. So yeah, it was a productive 48 hours. And you can't get enough of it. I can't get enough of it. I think I might pop back in. I am based Wildlife Lady, not too far. I'm very fortunate that I live sort of 45 minutes from the gate for Kruger Park, and yeah, it's my happy place. So I'm more than happy to join you guys here and watch what's happening on all of these fabulous cameras. Spas, yes, there is a lot of algae in the water here. It can become problematic. There are lots of different types of algae though. Elephants, as we know, much prefer to drink out of the clean water. And I would be fairly surprised to see elephants drinking out of that algae coated water as opposed to that nice clean stuff in the concrete there. I'd be interested to hear if they do. I mean, they might need to if someone is being a bit of a water hogger and won't let them, and they're thirsty. Maybe they've travelled a long way to find water. They probably would, but even then, I would assume they would walk further around the side rather than drinking through that green film that's on the top of the water. Raw. The other day, a small elephant climbed into the well at Elephant Dam. I believe it. That would have been very cute to see. And it's amazing actually how well considering their size, they can maneuver. I was actually talking yesterday about I've only been to Gonorrhea once. I would love to go back there, and there's cliffs there, and over millennia, elephants have a pathway. Oh, have we got an even bigger elephant coming in now? Asking this boy to leave. I think they're called Chilo cliffs, and there's actually an elephant pathway down these cliffs. And you wouldn't think elephants would be able to navigate cliffs, but some people say they throw it in 4-wheel drive and they navigate. So I've got no doubt that a little one was able to, I was gonna say, hop into that. Well, he probably did a hop in. It's probably more of a clambery sort of climb. But yeah, I can imagine that was very funny to watch. Raw, R-O-A-R. Raw, I automatically say it as raw, as in rar. And it was, I actually really, I've been to the Elephant Museum at Letaba. Anyone that's listening, if you get to the Kruger, highly recommend it. Some of the big tuskers that were called the Magnificent Seven, there's now emerging tuskers in Kruger. And their tusks are insane. This boy here, they're quite short. It looks like they've worked those tusks. But there's exact replicas of the tusks of some of these Magnificent Seven. Well, there's tusks of all of these Magnificent Seven. Often emerged. I started recording them in sort of late 70s. I think they started taking records of the Magnificent Seven, possibly earlier. And some of them, their tusks, they had to lift their head up to walk. Their tusks, if you look at that elephant now, it would have been, his tusks were way down past his trunk. And they actually needed to lift their head to get their tusks up off the floor so they could move around. And there was a picture of one of them actually resting his tusks on a tree just to take some of the weight off his head. Some of those tusks, 50, 60, 70, 80 kilograms of tusk. See, now this elephant's going to prove me wrong now and drink out the green water. I'm glad this what are you doing? No, I'm sure this elephant's going to rather drink out of that concrete. Rather safe than sorry, but I'm glad he's getting a drink. Let's head over to Stony Point. I would love to see what our penguin nest is doing over there. Is he going to get chased away again before he gets a chance? Shame, boy. Oh, hi, penguins. Sandy Franklin 69. Hi, how you doing? Where is Botswana compared to the Sabi Sand? North. It's much further north than the Sabi Sand. So Sabi Sand is sort of. I should have my Kruger map in front of me. It's sort of northwest Botswana from the Sabi Sands. There is actually a point in the northern Kruger that is a joining point for it's South Africa, Botswana and Zimbabwe. So not completely west, but northwest of the Sabi Sands, let's put it that way. These penguins look super chilled here, relaxing in the sun. Deb Davis, excellent question and right up my alley. Are there many behavioural differences between the long and normal tuskers? It depends. Is the standard answer for all behavioural questions. There was a tusker called Mafufunyan, one of the Magnificent Seven, probably the best known of the Magnificent Seven. and Mafufanyan, I think it is Shangan or Shono. Mafufanyan basically means grumpy one. Or if you are Mafufanyan, it means you are grumpy. Rough translation. Please, anyone that can give me the exact translation of that, you are most welcome to send it through. And he didn't do people well. And he spent lots of his time away from roads, away from people, and if he ever did bump into them, then he was deeply unimpressed. Joanne Mella, yes, Stony Point. I love it there. It's very, very peaceful, hey, relaxing with these penguins and the lovely sounds of the waves. But Deb, it depends. All animals, long tusks, short tusks, have different characters. If I was forced to say, Mufuffinyan was an exception, but often you do find these mega tuskers can be quite chilled. They can be quite relaxed, not all the time, not necessarily when they're in must. But it's a size thing, it's a confidence thing. They don't have anything to prove. I know people that, and they've been on foot with elephants, they'll go for the biggest one, or they will be more comfortable around the biggest of a group. If there's 3 or 4 males, they have tended to say that the largest of them is the most relaxed. But as always, it depends. Look at these penguins. They're all facing in different directions. Maybe they're covering each other's backs from predators. I was going to say they're enjoying the sunshine. And I was going to go down the route of basking, but not sure that makes sense because they're all facing different ways. But maybe they're covering each other's backs in case anyone sneaks up on them. And lovely different colours in those rocks. I've never noticed that before. Looks like some of them have been painted. They look quite snoozy. I suppose it's Sunday afternoon here. Thank you very much, Real Grins. Mafufanyan is that it's Songa. I apologise for irritable one. Yeah, irritable, grumpy. Yeah, that is spot on. I used to know before I actually moved here. Well, it was in the western section of the Sabi Sands. There was a male leopard called Mafufanyan for that same reason. Grumpy, irritable. And you can use the phrase "you are Mafufanyan" because I know that because my tracker said it to me on bad days. Still got our nest in there. I'm not sure if anyone's seen any movement. Deb Davis, yes. They've got no reason to show off. They've got no reason to feel insecure. They are big, they are strong, they know they are big, they are strong. All animals have different days though. You know, they have moods, depending on everything, quality of sleep, quality of food, whether or not they've just been in an argument with another animal, either of their species or a different species, or they might have just stepped on something that hurt, or you can just never tell. But animals do definitely have moods, but in my opinion they do also have characters. And you do, if you're working in a specific area for a long time, you do get to pick up on those character traits or habits or individual behaviours that these animals show. Please don't anyone find the biggest husky you can and try and walk up to it. Don't do that. I'm not advocating for that. A very peaceful scene here at Stony Point. I would struggle to tell the difference between male and female penguins. I'm sure there are differences, because I haven't spent much time with penguins, if I'm completely honest. I actually find it strange that penguins are found in South Africa, full stop. Species of penguins that can be found around Southern Africa's shores. Just South Africa. I'm sure if you go past Southern Africa there's even more. African penguins, as is the species. Indicative, you see those pink eyelids there, and identify as an African penguin, and the males and females are quite similar, but I think if you get tuned into these animals you'll be able to pick up nuances, changes in size of beak or bill. You might be able to. Yay! And those dassies. Now, I need to talk to you about dassies. Firstly, over the last week or so, I've decided that dassies look in a permanent state of being disgruntled. I've decided, not angry, just mildly put out by things. That's the first thing. And I need to do lots of reading around dassie feet. Because we know that in theory they shared a common ancestor with elephants in dental structure, foot structure, and sexual organs, often part of the taxonomic grouping of things. But at this elephant museum, it said that the elephants had between 3 and 5 toes. Now, I'm not gonna doubt the elephant museum because I think they probably know what they're talking about, but I need to do some more reading around why the toe number varies, how that has any relation to dassie feet, and the implications that has on the taxonomic groupings of dassies and elephants.
Join Wild Earth Travel on a unique nature adventure in the Greater Kruger Park. Legendary master tracker Renius Mhlongo leads a 4-day animal tracking experience in the Sabi Sand Nature Reserve. This experience offers a life-changing chance to track Africa's iconic animals on foot with a master of his craft. Renius is joined by Wild Earth presenter and expert storyteller Amy Krantz, and together they will connect you to Africa's wild heart.
Become a Wild Earth YouTube member and unlock exclusive bonuses and benefits. Enjoy uninterrupted, ad-free streams so you can stay immersed in nature. Have your burning questions answered first by me or other expert naturalists. Enjoy exclusive access to special broadcasts and videos, and help us to connect people to nature.
I don't know. So I don't know, Karen. Excellent question. I would get the feeling that I'm just trying to think what does eat kelp. We do. My marine knowledge isn't great, Karen, because I have hardly spent any time at the coast. I'm just trying to think what does eat kelp, because there's a lot of it and it is quite nutritious, but I think animals might have to have some sort of, if not specialised adaptation, then a way of dealing with the probably slightly unusual mineral content of kelp. I don't know. I don't know the answer, to be honest. I'm definitely going to be doing some reading on, further reading on dusky elephant foot structure information, and the properties and feeding sources around kelp. Seaweed is actually really cool. I don't know as much about it as I'd like to. I know it's very fast growing. I know there's lots of different types of it. But the only real work I've done on kelp is when I was doing my biology A-level many years ago in England, and we did a field trip to the Inner Hebrides in Scotland. The weather was glorious, by the way, which was a bit confusing. These penguins have not moved. They are still enjoying this Sunday afternoon sunshine. All of my reference books are normally bush-based, sort of, certainly not marine-based as well, so. Okay, seems most things that mostly eat kelp. Things like sea urchins and mollusks, occasional fish species. But it seems not as much as I feel should be eating kelp, because there's so much of it. There is some more seaweed out there. I cannot tell you what sort of kelp that is. I don't actually, to be perfectly honest, I think kelp is a type of seaweed. But I'm fairly... Oh, no, hold on, I just had a flashback to A-levels in. One of the scientific names was Fucus something. I think that might have been the one with the air bubbles in, the little air pockets. But I'm actually surprised not more things eat kelp. I'm having a little look here. Like I said, I'm often careful what I trust. And on initial investigation, it seems that seaweed is more used for habitat than food sources. Wow, sea urchins control kelp densities. That's a lot of work from sea urchins. But I think I'm going to put seaweed and kelp research on my homework list, to be honest. Looks like we've got a cormorant out there as well, busily preening. Cormorant's doing a fabulous job of keeping those feathers in tip-top condition. They have to work a little bit harder than a lot of the birds because of this constant salt water. Salt water. They're doing a great job there. Let's leave them doing their ablutions and their tidy up missions and head across to Tenby. And at Tenby Elephant Park we have an elephant who is covered in mud. It was interesting yesterday how detailed you have to be when identifying individual elephants, either by their tusk size and shape, or often their ears and those tiny little nicks and breaks and chunks they've got out of their ears. But that can also be a bit tricky because they can go away and come back and they've got new damage to their ear or something like that. But this elephant, you see how the edges of his ears are quite they look quite thin, quite pliable. Excellent job of getting behind his ears, under those armpits. Listening to, it sounds like there might be another elephant there somewhere, but it looks like he's just stopped to have a listen. Looks from this angle that his tusks are quite different, and there were certainly some tusks we saw yesterday that have been recorded that I believe they come from the same animal. Do you imagine tusks 2.5 times the size of these, all the way to the ground, and some of the elephants also very decurved. They almost dropped down and then came along and then lifted up and turned in, and they almost, well, a couple of them did actually cross over in front of the trunk there. There's still lots of nice little muddy puddles here, I see. Jamie, you're asking, do adult elephants ever sit on the ground? Yeah, sometimes. Not often. It's not really a natural posture for elephants. Maybe they'll sit backwards if they're scratching their bum on something, or if they're trying to climb up something or down something, but they won't rest. They can, but they won't sit down to rest. They'll either be standing or laying down. Sitting isn't actually a super common posture for a lot of animals. We do see leopards sometimes sitting, and cheetahs probably more than leopards. But it's not a super natural position for many animals, including dogs. If you watch wild dogs, they'll normally either be standing or laying down. They can sit, and they do sit, but if they're going to rest, they will often just go from standing to laying down.
7 nights on safari during the magnificent green season. The rains have stopped, the land is emerald, and there are wild babies everywhere. Meet your favorite presenters.
This is amazing.
And create unforgettable memories on this once-in-a-lifetime adventure.
Thank you for coming along on this little adventure.
The Green Season Grand Tour, only with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive. Join the Wild Earth YouTube superfan community and unlock a world of additional perks. Get exclusive early access or discounts to Wild Earth travel deals. Wear the best bush attire with merchandising discounts. Enjoy an interactive live monthly private safari. Don't miss out on the ultimate fan experience. Join the YouTube superfan community today.
My full name is Cedric Leslie Dold. I grew up mostly in the Lowveld. I grew up here pretty much on the southern side of Kruger National Park, a place called Marlow Park, for most of my years. Something surprising about myself, I did play drums in a band for many years. Best sighting I presented, we found Palumba and the 2 cubs, and the cubs are just way big.
Wild Earth Travel would like to take you to Namibia and Botswana. Drift over the desert in a hot air balloon, then glide through the lush Okavango Delta in a dugout canoe. This extraordinary journey blends dramatic landscapes with outdoor adventures and unparalleled wildlife encounters. Discover Africa like never before. Book now with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
By the others, but if you often watch in animal circles, it's not normally done through, smacking each other and shouting at each other and chasing each other around. Everyone knows. They just understand that, okay, this here flick. Look, that's exactly how those holes form. He's doing it right now. That's sand, that dirt is wet. He's just using his foot to give it a good kick there. But if there was only one hole, most of these elephants in this group would know who was going first, who was going second, and who was going last. Dark Mane Lover, you are asking what human illnesses elephants get. Off the top of my head, I have no idea. It's a really good question, though. I'm just trying to think. What illnesses elephants get? I'm not going to try and hypothesize that one because I don't know. I will have to do reading. I don't even reading these. I think 5 of these magnificent 7 tuskers yesterday. One was horrifically poached. Another one had a wound. And it was decided, I'm just trying to remember what I read yesterday. I think one had a wound and it was it was an untreatable wound from something or other, I don't know what. And it says the other 5 died of natural causes. I don't know what those natural causes would be. So I don't know the answer to that, Dark Mane Lover, but I will definitely let me try and... The first one that sprung to mind was actually TB, because I know lions and buffalo can get TB. I've never seen or heard of an elephant with TB, but if lions and buffalo can get it, I can't see why elephants couldn't. And there may be some evidence of transmission. But it's a massive question, Dark Mane Lover, and I don't want to hypothesize incorrectly. So I'm going to add it to my kelp homework. Penelope Kenyon, you're saying you can watch elephants all day. Me too. I love the fact that they're very often doing something. Some animals, they will just sleep. And you won't hear a peep out of them for hours on end, but these look in. So a little scratch behind the ears there. So far I've got kelp homework, elephant disease homework, and additional elephant stroke dusty feet research that I would like to understand better. There's an elephant heart that's been preserved that I saw yesterday, and the one I saw was 8 kilograms from a young animal, and elephant hearts can be up to 28 kilograms, 28 kilograms. A large adult elephant heart can get to. That is just insane. I love the way they've made their own little pan. It's really interesting seeing the different shapes of these tusks. You're asking, can elephants get mange? Yes, it's a skin disease. It's not. You often see it on furry animals because they lose their fur and you can see it, but it's actually caused by a parasitic mite, and they can cause lots of itchiness. Itchiness? That's not a word. Itchiness. Scratching, especially around the tail area. But yes, they can. As can many other animals caused by those parasitic mites that cause irritation of the skin. And often animals will lose their fur because they're scratching. It's not so much that, I'm not sure if it's actually the mite that sort of kills hair follicles. I think it's probably more of a case of it's so uncomfortable and itchy that the animals scratch and do damage to their coat and their fur. This big one, he's got lovely symmetrical tusks actually. And the other one's sort of resting his trunk up in between his tusks. Getting too heavy to, there we go, too heavy to hold up. Moonbeam Smith, excellent name, Moonbeam Smith. Is it me, or are these Ellies a bit thin? Seems to be more skin than elephant. They don't look too bad. This boy in front here, you can see his temples are quite pronounced. You can see his backbone there quite pronounced, but I think he's probably quite old. And these elephants shouldn't be thin. This time of the year is a time of plenty. They've got lots to eat. They've got lots of lovely fresh green grass and growth of trees and stuff. And towards the end of the winter, you might see them looking a bit poor. And older elephants, they will start to get a bit bonier and their skin might start to look a bit looser. I've certainly seen elephants much, much skinnier than this before. But as they get older, their temples will sink, their skin will get looser, and some of their bones might become a bit more prominent. As they get older, it is more difficult for any animal to maintain condition. I mean, including us, I guess. But we can take supplements or do whatever doctors tell us to do to maintain supple and whatever else it is that we need to do. Animals have got what they've got in the wild, and that's what they've got. And if they are no longer able to function or sustain themselves with it, then that's when they will start to decline. And I think all of the five of the Magnificent Seven, I'm sure I read yesterday that the 5 that died of natural causes, I think they're all between like 55 and 60 when they died. And that's a good age for an elephant. Elephants, when they do die, often malnutrition, because their last set of teeth have worn down. They're not able to process their food. They're not super picky about what they eat. So sometimes what they're feeding on is quite tough, and without good strong sets of teeth, they're not able to break down the cellulose in that plant matter. So they're not able to get the nutrition they need from what they're feeding on, and their condition can often decline because of that, leading to, sadly, death from starvation. But is the natural way of things. And there's a wall at the museum with at least 25 emerging tuskers, and that's just in the Kruger region. How these Kruger tuskers would compare to these guys in Tembe. Also some beautiful big tuskers from Botswana, Etosha. Also further into Africa. I believe the biggest elephant still recorded was from Angola. So these beautiful big tuskers are hopefully still out there and will remain so for many years to come. This lovely old boy is taking his time here, enjoying this mud bath. Let's go back across to Elephant Pan and have a guess and see what we might have back through Elephant Pan. Ah, look at the little tiny one. So these elephants are probably going to show me up royally now and start drinking that green slime. That's a very young one there. Look at all that stuff. Oh, careful, Laura. This looks like a bull on the left. Looks like he's asked the rest of the family to, or this family group to move on, which is a shame. And they've stirred all of that water up now. I'm sure it's that big bull that's just asked them to make their way out of that drinking spot. Making their way out through those very unique looking trees there. And there's a tiny little one at the front there. Kaz, as long as they don't slip on the green slime, yes. There's certainly plenty of that green alga or algae around that elephant pan at the moment there in Botswana. And Sandy Franklin, yes, I also love baby elephants. Even a very small baby elephant, and when they're born, I think they weigh about 150 kilograms when they're born. And while they're small, they're still big animals. But when you see them next to the rest of the adults in a family, they always look teeny tiny. Making their way across to the other side there, maybe there's a little bit less algae. And they'll be able to finish drinking. There's the little one there on the right. Come on, keep going. Keep moving. Good that this is indeed confirmed as Mapani there by the looks of it. Very high, got quite high nutrients, these Mapani trees, even once they've dropped their leaves. So it will give animals in the area still some good nutrition into the winter months after those trees have dropped their leaves. There's a little one. It does make me laugh. Come on, hurry up. Don't dawdle. Sandy Franken 69. Will the algae make them sick? It depends on the type of algae. Certain types can, but I don't know from, I'm not sure what type of algae that was. It can harm them when they ingest it. Sometimes it releases toxins into the water. You can see there is quite a lot of algae in the water there. But I've seen many animals many times drink much water out of skanky puddles. So whether or not this will do any, I mean, maybe if the only pan they had to drink out of was a really skanky one covered in green algae, they might get sick, but that's one corner. They're big animals. If nature, I don't know if it would be very clever for nature to produce things that killed all the nature. It's probably not very good for them. They might struggle if it was just a tiny pan with 20 elephants just had algae covered water to drink. But they've just gone over the other side, or they'll just go to somewhere where there's not as much algae. But I've seen animals drinking out of the most horrific looking puddles on many occasions. Jenny, you're saying these elephants don't look as healthy to you as the ones in Sabi Sands or Amakala. It depends on food availability, it depends on water availability, it depends on stress levels. Oh, what's going on here? Is that a big bull having a run around? There's lots of things that can have an impact on the condition of elephants. Oh, these two bulls having a little bit of a fight here. Oh, he's a big boy. Jenny, I don't think they look too bad. I think they look pretty good. I've seen some fairly poorly looking elephants before. It could just be that maybe there's more grass in Sabi Sands and Amakala, which is what they spend a lot of time feeding on in the summer months if it's available. But if there's not as much grass in an area, they obviously won't feed on as much grass, which might not have such an obvious impact in their condition. But I've seen elephants that they I think they look fine. If I'm completely honest. If we look at everyone again in September, October, if the rains haven't come, then you might start to see animals that are starting to lose condition quite quickly. Deb Davis, I agree. It is incredible how they seem to know the locations of where their little ones are. And they are such massive animals, but many animals have excellent spatial awareness of where they're placing their feet. If you're a kudu that has to run away from a lion, perfect example, maybe it's not a perfect example. Wild animals are really cool because they have to be to survive. The example I was going to use was horses and zebras. And I've actually got zebras in the estate that I stay in. I'm very lucky. And we found holes in the driveway at the front the other day, and we were trying to work out, is it a speed walk here? Is it a track? What is it? And we looked on the camera, and there'd been a zebra stampede around the house. I don't know what scared them. And they came flying through a very small gap and through a concrete carport, and a tiny little foal basically jumped through the carport and absolutely fine. It wasn't massive. It was maybe half a metre, 60 centimetres, but this foal was probably no older than 3 months. If there's any horse riders out here or out there that are listening, how would you feel about your 3-month-old foal jumping 60 centimetres onto and off of concrete? Probably not great. But this little foal had to run. I don't know where it was running from. And it ran and it was absolutely fine. So then if you think you're a kudu, you spend time in rocky areas. Wow, I'm really rambling. If you spend time in rocky areas and you're being chased by a lion, you've got to run. And you've got to know where your feet are going. Otherwise, you're going to get eaten or you're going to fall, which will result in you getting eaten. So lots of animals have excellent spatial awareness, which is probably why these elephants know where their little ones are at all times. I once watched an elephant feeding, it was in Madikwe, and there's a few areas in Madikwe with some really nice sort of cliffs, like rocky overhang, rocky outcrops. And this elephant was stood on the edge of one of these outcrops, and it was leaning so far forward. There was like a fig tree or something that was sort of set out.
Join Wild Earth Travel on a unique nature adventure in the Greater Kruger Park. Legendary master tracker Renius Mhlongo leads a 4-day animal tracking experience in the Sabi Sand Nature Reserve. This experience offers a life-changing chance to track Africa's iconic animals on foot with a master of his craft. Renius is joined by Wild Earth presenter and expert storyteller Amy Krantz, and together they will connect you to Africa's wild heart. South Africa's wild places are closer than you think, because Federal Airlines brings them to you. From the calm of our FedAir lounge to the smooth boarding of our trusted fleet, we take care of the journey so you can enjoy the adventure. Our flights go beyond the ordinary, connecting you to South Africa's most remote and extraordinary locations. Federal Airlines, your gateway to the South African wild.
Can you hear that? The wild is calling.
Crawls over the camera, and it might be a spider or a cricket or I don't know what it is, but it looks like an alien to me. Always fun trying to work out what these things are that scoot across in front of the camera. Well, no baboons here today in Kenya, but I would love to head back across to Oliphants River. Let's see if those confusing elephants that were there earlier are still indeed having some tomfoolery down there in the Oliphants River. There are still some elephants here. I'm not sure if it's the same ones. I'm not sure if anyone... See, there was 3 that went out to that little grassy bank in the middle there earlier. That current was quite strong. It wasn't exactly washing them downstream. But if they were on their side, they were certainly showing a bit of movement caused by the water. Six of them here earlier. Still just a couple of stragglers left on this bank. I'm not sure if the others crossed. If indeed they're still messing about playing in the current. Kaz, no, I have never seen the birth of a baby elephant. I have never seen a birth at all, actually. Unfortunately, I've seen some very near moments. I've been at an impala before the amniotic sac was sort of freed. I think I've been really close to a zebra birth before, but the people I had with me were getting bored after about half an hour, so I had to leave. But no, I have never seen the birth of an elephant. Not in person. I've seen people have the honour, privilege of filming it, and I've seen those video clips. In person, no, I have not. Probably had we had a good few elephant sightings. Kruger here on the Oliphants River or around the Oliphants River. Probably about 50-50, split between family groups, single or small groups of males. Feel like it doesn't feel like it does in the winter months when like there's elephants around every corner. Plentiful food, plentiful water at the moment. Nice to see all these animals under minimal food stress, minimal water stress. The abundance of the summer months. Sunday afternoon dust spa. Kimberly, you're asking what is the purpose of them putting dust on their bodies? Exfoliant, it's skin care, it helps with parasite control, to a certain extent protects the skin from harsh sun. Some people say it just feels nice. All different areas do partake in this activity. Different colours depending on the areas they've been in. Salt pans, white. Diquay, very, very red, where they've been covering themselves with red mud, red dust, red sand. It's skincare, parasite control. Form of grooming. If you're going to give it a word, you would say it's grooming. You can hear that. How fast that river is flowing. You can see the puffs of dust still across the back there. Wouldn't be surprised. It surprised me if some of these elephants are having a good roll around over there. Oh, okay. This is a nice zoomed out view. Wow, you can really see how wide that river is there. And this is going to be great to watch these rapidly changing water levels. Drove over a bridge yesterday, also drove over about 6 weeks ago, and it was flowing. 6 weeks ago, very, very heavy rain. And yesterday it was back to a dry drainage line. It wouldn't surprise me if there might be an elephant back there, rolling in the dust, rolling in the sand.
It's been a great morning out and about and exploring.
That is amazing. It's very hard to explain what this feels like.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website.
My full name is Cedric Leslie Dold. The best driver at Wild Earth, it is me. I believe I'm the best driver. I think so, because I've... Best part of my job, I say, is just to try and look out for these animals, track them down. I love tracking animals. I love looking for, fresh tracks, and if you can find them, it's just at the moment of accomplishment. If I wasn't a presenter for Wild Earth, I would be the drummer for AC/DC.
Step into the heart of Africa from the comfort of your home.
Female leopard tracks over here.
Join our expert guides for a live 3-hour safari where every moment is real, unscripted, and unforgettable. Ask questions.
Animals rely on their senses.
Share your thoughts and be part of the experience as we explore together. Safari Live.
We are here with a male leopard.
We've got some penguins at Stony Point. Hi, penguins. They have changed trajectory. They seem to have changed trajectory somewhat. And there really is some interesting interesting stones in there, interesting colourings in some of those rocks. And my homework, which is kelp research. I'm not sure if this is kelp. I know this is a seaweed. Whether or not it's kelp or a type of kelp or a type of seaweed, I'm not sure. But I know there are many, many different types of seaweed. So it could be one of those. I'm sure there are different types of kelp as well. Are they? That almost looks like little tadpoles or something in that rock pool. I'm fairly sure it's not, but this penguin looks mostly asleep. Kaz, you're asking, do animals have twins ever? Yes, they do. They will have 2 babies sometimes. Many animals have lots more than 2 babies. But as I was saying that, it makes me wonder if those double sets of babies are technically genetically identical. And how would we know that? And someone told me something about an animal the other day that is known for commonly giving birth to identical young from egg mitosis, from cell splitting of the egg, but I can't remember which animal it was, so that doesn't really help. But great question, Kaz, but I'm just wondering, you say animals have twins, and I instinctively say yes, because I've seen mums of lots of species with 2 babies or indeed more. But I wonder if they're genetically identical. I know, like puppies, if a female dog has puppies, then they are absolutely not genetically identical, because they will very often all look very, very different. And I'm fairly sure dogs and cats can also give birth to young from different fathers. I'm fairly sure cheetah do the same thing. I would assume if cheetah can do it, then lions can do it, which would make them absolutely not genetically identical. But I'm not entirely sure how we would know sometimes if animals are genetically identical. It's unusual, but if a kudu had 2 baby kudus and they look the same, they might look the same. But to be fair, kudus all do look quite similar. But I'm not sure if we would know if they were genetically identical. So again, Kaz, it just raises more questions for me. I'm going to add it to my homework list. Joanne Mello, have a good Sunday to all of us, and back at you. Joanne Mello, thank you so much for taking the time to join us on this Sunday afternoon. Penelope Kenyon, thank you. Wild Earth, Kelly and Zoomies. Thank you, Penelope Kenyon, for your insightful and thoughtful input and questions. It's hugely appreciated. My lunchtime special. Off to a beach clean-up before sunset. Go and enjoy. Go and see how many different types of seaweed and kelp you can see. And I will report back how many different types of seaweed and kelp I can find before I return tomorrow with my homework to hand in to everyone. But enjoy the rest of your Sunday. If it's Sunday afternoon, kick back, relax and enjoy. I'm going to leave you here with the soothing sounds of the sea at Stony Point and say thank you so much for taking the time to join us here this afternoon. And I will catch you all again soon. Stay safe.